Hello and welcome. Today we've got Ian Clark and we are going to be discussing whole body healing. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself and Ian can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Ian, thank you for joining me. How are you, sir? And what have you been up to?
I'm doing very well, Nicholas. And we've been up to a lot of cool things, a lot of further discoveries, as always. Every day is a growth day where we learn more and we get more defined and refined in our messaging to help people have a very great experience in their physical body's health.
Absolutely. Now, which is very important, especially today in this crisis where we've been hit left, right, and center from EMF radiation and everything that we put in our bodies and we eat, etc. So I understand that you want to be discussing about two very interesting nutrients today. One of them is Panabi oil, honey, and also the other one is black cumin seed oil. Why don't you give us a short presentation of what they are, where we can get it from, who would use it, why we need to use it, and I will just sit back and relax and listen to you.
Yeah, so both of these are ancient. You know, everyone knows that honey has been around forever, as long as bees have been around. And then there's different levels of honey. There's honey in your local area. There's, organic honey. There's non-organic. There's wild crafted honey. And there's different parts of the earth where more powerful honeys come from. New Zealand is well known for Manuka honey. Well, through our due diligence of going out and learning all these top level things, we found out that Greece has the highest grade of medicinal honey in the world. So how do you access that? And then we found out that honey has to be handled very carefully from the time the bees, like where do the bees get the honey from? Where are the hives? How is it harvested? How is the honey taken from the comb and put into a bottle? All those things are critical path because honey is so sensitive. If you take honey and dump it in your tea, you've just taken all the medicinal aspects of the honey away because you've heated it. You can't have any heat whatsoever to be medicinal. And so there's these different medicinal properties. And even with Manuka honey, you have different levels. But we'll get into that in a little bit, but that sort of lays out the honey side and the ancientness of it all. The other ancient thing that has been out in the world for thousands of years is what's called Nigella sativa or black seeds. So people have used black seeds as a spice. A lot of people use cumin in their spice for cooking, but that's different. That's just regular cumin, which is good, has its properties. Black cumin is a very medicinal spice, and it can also be used as a spice in cooking, but you want to get the oil out of that seed because that oil is pure gold that your body loves. And you only need a small amount of it. This is not like oil like you would use olive oil in a salad. This is 1 teaspoon a day. And in that little teaspoon is they basically call it miraculous. Now, we can't use the word miracle because it has to be real physical things. Your body has to know what that is, how to use it. And it's a cleansing, nourishing food, spice, but it has all these medicinal properties. It's so intense that in the Middle East, or whatever they call that part of the world, let's just say certain countries, when they discovered how powerful it was, they put it on the external part of the body, they take it internally, and they said from way back that it cures every disease except for death. Okay, so that is not an actual proper way to approach it. It doesn't cure anything. What it does is because your body's a chemical factory, and when you eat food and you eat different nutrients and different elements, your body uses those elements to transform into whatever chemicals the body needs. So it's very curative in the sense that it's a fuel that your body uses to heal itself. So at the end of the day, it's all about supporting your body to keep itself as close to the original blueprint as a youth as possible. Because when you're young, you're resilient, you heal fast. A bone breaks, it heals fast. You get sick, you get over it quickly. But as you age, the body needs more and more support. So this is an oil that is one of your must-have products in the world. And now it's fully discovered. It's actually gone all over the world now. And people are finding out in North America and Europe and Australia and different places how valuable this oil is for their bodies. And it's so simple because you just take it. The oil alone is able to go in and give the body the material it needs to truly heal itself. When you add the honey with it, that's why we're talking about them together. When you take the honey at the same time as the oil, and you can choose any honey you want, right? As long as it's good, pure, clean honey, it goes as an adjunct. An adjunct is an amplifier. So the honey goes in with the oil and then it goes deeper into the body. So it magnifies it. The oil on itself is so phenomenal. And then when you add honey in, and then honey itself on its own also has its medicinal benefits and healing properties with the body. So this is a perfect combination for people to discover. And all they got to do is add it to their body every day and watch what happens. Because a lot of peripheral things that are symptomatic, where people are having little health issues, maybe it's an allergy reaction, or it's a skin irritation, or it's a gut health problem, or maybe their lungs, right? Their lungs are not functioning properly. Everything starts to gradually improve every single day. And you notice it the first day you do it. Over a course of 90 days, you've got a significant improvement in your body's overall function just by adding these two components in, or even either one of these components alone. So a lot of times people want to try one and then see what it does and then add the next and see what that does. So they can mix and match. But what we found out was that you have to know where to source the perfect black seeds. It has to be grown in very rich soil. It has to be truly certified organic. That means just for purity. Not so we can say it's organic, but so we know it doesn't have heavy metals. It doesn't have mold. It doesn't have any contaminants. It's harvested at the right time. It's not, no shortcuts are taken. The oil inside the seed is precious. It has to be packaged properly. It has to be shipped from around the world. It doesn't grow in Canada. And so we have to bring it in, and then it has to be treated through the facility where we press oil. We have a process where it's a do no damage process. So it has to be stored properly in the right climate conditions. It has to be pressed with a technology that does not shear the elements of the oil, because each molecule in that oil has to be left in its original state. So when you consume it, it has the full benefit. Many products are damaged in process. Once it's pressed, then it has to go into a container, which is, we put it into Myron glass. Myron glass is a technology that comes out of Europe, where they produce these very dark bottles. They look black, but they're actually a dark violet. When you hold them up to the light, you can see the dark purple, and it protects that product and enhances the product with the longer it sits in the bottle. So there's all these processes that you have to consider. It's not just, I'm just going to get some black seed oil now. You have to know that where you're investing your time, energy, and resources, you're getting the best possible quality on whatever you're going to put in your body. Then you want to see the results, because in the physical world, seeing is believing. Anybody can talk about and get people excited about a perceived value, but if the received value of the results is not far greater than the perceived value, then people are missing out. So on my journey, when I went through, I did what we call due diligence. So I'm always looking for the right things. If I can't find the right thing, then it's not good enough. I don't go look for the wrong things. So we have a criteria list of all the right things. It's just like what you're doing with the world environment and the political environment and the economic environment. You're always looking for the truth. And when you can't find it, it's like, well, we're really looking hard to find the truth here. We want to find out that the government's telling the truth. But when we can't, we're doing our very best possible job to find out where they're telling the truth. But every time we try, we're struggling because we can't find it. We know that people in power and positions of authority that control borders and jails and military and police and media, they're in a position of great responsibility. And they are then required to tell the truth at all times. So therefore, we are saying, okay, you guys are in that. We're not telling them to do anything. They're telling us to do things. So we are looking to find truth. And every time we try lately, especially the last few years, we know that before we were having trouble, but now we're having a really large amount of trouble. But we're not coming at them going, you're just a bunch of liars. So it's like that in the health world. When you're looking for something to do with your body, everyone says they have the best stuff. It's up to you to determine whether that is true or not. And so if you're given access to intelligent information, and when I went out to find things that would be truly beneficial for my health, and I found the things that actually were, I want that for you. I don't want to just keep that for me and then keep you in the dark and then keep you suppressed where you can't find out the real root cause of truly good health, right? Because there's a root cause to illness, but there's also a root cause to being super healthy. And when I started to do due diligence over a 16-year period now, all of that information just kept getting better and better and better. And then you do less and less things to get more and more result. So that's the sum of the approach to this. And each person, instead of just sitting back and doing what you're told to do, you become a sophisticated, knowledgeable, well-read, discerning person who makes intelligent decisions. And when you engage your time, energy, and resources in anything, you're getting the maximum benefit back into your life, as well as sharing that out to everybody else. Because, your energy, your physical energy, your mental energy, your emotional energy has to be dialed in to be the most valuable to everyone around you. And today, Nicholas, that today you're more valuable than you've ever been in your whole life. And so am I. And every person listening today is more valuable than they've ever been in their life. And tomorrow they're going to be even more valuable. And that means that we're getting more definitive. We are understanding deeper levels of knowledge. We're always improving, always simplifying. And so the more you simplify, the more you can magnify, the more you can multiply. If you try to multiply something that's complex and difficult and confusing, it gets to get more confusing. So what you've been doing all these years is simplifying information so people can get their head around it. It's clear signaling. And I'm doing the same thing in the physical health world by getting the clearest, cleanest, most effective elements that you can consume. So that's where this black cumin seed oil is the top oil that we produce. It has certain benefits that you take when you take it, and then we have other oils that complement it in other ways. And so there's good, great, greater, greatest, and people want to always access the greatest things that are the must-have because everyone has limited amounts of time, energy, and resources. I don't care if they have $1 trillion. You can only take so much money into products, into taking it on a daily basis. You can't, our bodies are small and we need a little bit of the best stuff. So again, it wouldn't matter if a person was a trillionaire. They can only do so much in a day. This is a beautiful, it's kind of like leveling the playing field. So everyone can afford these things. Everyone can invest in themselves and they can see the benefits and become far superior in their physicality than they've ever been before.
So let's talk a little bit more about the black cumin. How often do you take it? How long will I need to take it for until I see the results? And is it an ongoing thing where it becomes a lifestyle of taking this, consuming it in the body? And also talk a little bit more about the benefits of this. Is it more of the brain function? Is it the pineal gland? Is it your joints, the brain? What would you say?
Okay, so that's a lot of info. So let's start out with when you take it and how often you take it and how much you take. The best time to take black seed oil is about 30 minutes before you go to sleep at night. It has this thing where it just lets your body chill out. If you take it during the day, it doesn't put you to sleep because you're ready to go for the day and you've slept all night. But when you're getting ready, I found that was the best time. So I take a teaspoon of whichever honey I choose. I happen to choose the stuff from Greece because I know that's the best. I put a teaspoon of that in my mouth and then I put a teaspoon of the oil in. I swish it around. It explodes into a very special flavor. And then I swallow it and I take a bit of warm water behind it just to wash everything down. And that's it. 30 minutes later, I go to bed. And what it does, it goes into the body. And during the nighttime is when your body does most of its repair. And it wants to do DNA repair. It wants to do cleansing and all those things that happen during the night. But the first thing I noticed was, and this I've been, involved in this for many years, was lung health. So it's very supportive of getting your lungs dialed in, so that your lungs have to have a good capacity for breathing, plus the ability to transfer the oxygen and the nutrients that you're breathing in into your bloodstream. So lungs is number one. Now it goes into the body and starts with that. So you'll notice that right away. And you might expel some stuff as a result of it. That's okay. If you lay down, like one time I laid down and a whole bunch of stuff came out when I was laying down. So I had to keep sitting up and getting rid of it. But it goes in the body, and because it's a whole body tonic, it works with your pancreas. Everyone who has pancreas issues or struggles with keeping the balance between insulin and sugar, they'll notice a definite uptick with that just by adding only the black seed oil, not even including the honey. So pancreas, and then it's a liver cleanser. It also helps with the kidneys. And then digestion is huge. I've had so many people get a hold of me and tell me that they got rid of their allergies, which is often gut related, but all the bloating and the GERD, all the things that people get. There's IBS and diverticulitis and Crohn's and all these things that people have struggles with. But even minor to major digestive issues are improved dramatically within the first 90-day period. And all you got to do is just stay consistent. Just remember, every day, 30 minutes before you go to bed, go get your black seed oil, your black cumin seed oil, and your honey, or just the black seed oil alone, and just put the warm water in behind it. Because what happens with oil, it goes in your tongue and it will go into the back of the throat. When you take black seed oil alone, it has a very spicy flavor, and it also cleans up all the stuff at the back of your throat because it's antimicrobial, it's antiparasitic. It does a lot of work in those silent, invisible areas. And I noticed that when I first started it was annoying. Because I didn't know about the honey back in the day. So I was taking it and it was irritating the back of my throat. I was like, I don't like that. It was bothering me. And then a person told me, oh, don't worry about that. Just keep doing that. Within a couple of weeks, that should sort itself out. And within 2 weeks approximately, that didn't bother me at all anymore. So it wasn't the oil that was bothering me. It was the junk in the tonsils area. That whole area where you can get weird things from breathing all day. And it went in and cleaned it all up. And then it didn't do that anymore. I was like, okay, cool. And I also didn't like the taste of it. But then I acquired the taste. As soon as I found out about the honey, oh no, that solved the problem. Honey, oil, wow, it tastes fantastic. And then the warm water. So there's a thing called telegraphing. Telegraphing is when you have any oil in your tongue. If you don't wash it down afterwards, it can telegraph across your tongue, down your throat, and possibly bother your epiglottis where your trachea goes, right? You want to have that. You don't want to have anything hanging around down there. So that's why I always warm water afterwards. And then you just feel a peacefulness within 30 minutes, a real peacefulness, and you just want to go to bed. So it's some kind of a wonderful sleep aid. And it's the two of them together. Yeah.
And it's natural. So you mentioned earlier at the beginning of this interview that you shouldn't really mix heat with honey because it's not used it's not medicinal. So to use honey medicinal, it has to be not heated. Well, what happens if you have it cold and straight away you have a hot drink with it? So you have a teaspoon or a tablespoon of honey, and then you have a hot drink with it. Or, is that okay? Or do you have to wait a little bit of time before you have any hot drinks after having the honey cold?
That's right. Yeah, you want to wait. You don't want to have like a hot coffee or a hot tea or something like that right afterwards because it will affect it in your tummy. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't take long once it's in your tummy, because it's body temperature, it's going to start to break up immediately and start to be utilized by the body very quickly. And you'll feel the honey go in fast. It's not like you got to digest food and it takes 2 hours to get through into your system. Your body absorbs honey very quickly. So I would only wait probably 5 minutes max. But when I say warm water, I mean body temperature water, something that's just warm and just washes it down. That's why it's not hot.
Like room temperature.
Yeah. Just body temperature. Something that's comfortable to drink is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. 98.6 or whatever. But,
I think you guys over there say body temperature. I think over here it's room temperature. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, room temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit and body temperature is 98.6.
Okay.
So in Celsius, because I'm still like old school Fahrenheit. So Celsius would be room temperature is 21 degrees and body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius centigrade.
And you just go into the benefits of the Panabi honey again.
Well, so honey is just a massive healer, and honey lasts forever. So they found honey that was 1,000 years old and was still very, very powerful. But what honey does, it goes in and it also works with your gut health because it feeds your friendly bacteria. So you think your body is you have more bacteria in your body than you have cells. And we're told from the medical world that we have 100 trillion cells. I don't know how they counted them, but they're estimating 100 trillion cells. Well, that's great. But we have more bacteria than that. So the honey goes in and feeds the friendly bacteria to fuel the army to do all the good work. So as far as, you want to have a very powerful immune system, and the honey is going to go in and help that in a tremendous way. There's also a glyconutrient. So a glyconutrient is a sugar that goes in and feeds brain power. It just feeds it works with your ATP, which is your cellular energy production. And it powers your body. You can't live without glucose. So it's the right kind of glyconutrient. That's why the better the honey, the better it is for you. But even local honey, like people will take local bee pollen and it helps them deal with their local allergies. It's a well-known fact. Then you've got bee propolis, royal jelly that comes from honey, all these things that you take and they work extremely well with your body. Well, the honey itself is the main fuel. And that's coming out of the hive. And how that's taken out. Everybody can say they do it right, but do they truly do it right? This is the way you can tell. Is the consistency of the honey, the color, the smell of it, right? The flavor, and how it just feels in your body. That's how you know when somebody actually did it every step, right? Because they're thinking about you. What is it like when you get that little tub of honey and you take that out and your body is going to read that? So there are so many minerals and elements and nutrients and glyconutrients and flavors in the honey, in this medicinal honey from Greece that we have. So if they go and they look and they have to search on our website to find the honey, and they pick any one, it doesn't matter whether it's oak tree or fir tree or strawberry tea, they're going to have an experience with honey they've never had in their life before because of the depth of the flavor. And some people, when they first had the strawberry honey, they're like, oh, I don't know if I like that one. I go, oh yeah, just wait a little bit. You're going to love it. Because if it's a little bit weird taste to them, that means it's doing more work in their body than normal. And that's the medicinal actives are extremely powerful. So it's coming in like people can think about gut health, brain health, your sugar system as well. Your body loves that kind of sugar. That's the healthy stuff. I've literally guzzled tablespoons of sad honey when I first ran into it to see what it would do to me. And I just felt strong and energized. I didn't get a glycemic hit where insulin resistance was kicking in because I had insulin resistance issues back in the day. So yeah.
So would you say that is it true that the darker the honey, the more pure it is?
Depends on the honey. It all depends. And honey is full of minerals. So the more mineralized the honey is, and depending on where it's coming from, like this tree honey is pretty intense stuff. It's definitely dark. It's not like super dark, but it's got different hues and different consistencies depending on which tree it was taken from. So you can't really judge always by an outward appearance. You're more judging by texture, taste, smell, and how it feels. You're definitely going to feel this stuff. When it goes in, your body loves this kind of thing. When your body loves something, it's like, yeah, okay, let's do this one. But when I discovered the combination between the black cumin seed oil and the honey, that was like the best thing that ever happened because I've only ever had improvements doing that. And that eliminates any of the taste factors with the black seed oil that some people love it. I didn't love it when I first started taking it. Now I just look forward to it every day. It's actually a highlight of my day, 30 minutes before I go to bed. And I don't forget that one. Sometimes I'll forget to do stuff, that one I don't forget.
Absolutely. Well, it's very interesting. And I think investing in your body is very important, especially right now. So, Ian, thank you so much for your contribution in our immune system in this day and age. We really need you. So thank you. If you can send me a link, so I can leave below in the description where people can read more about this, and where they can buy it from. And if there is any special offers for the viewers, please let us know. Ian, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yeah, well, actually, it's really important that they pay attention to the code that they'll get. There's going to be links that we will provide for this, but the code is NIC20, and that will give them 20% discount off everything within our whole environment, the whole activationproducts.com. It will give it that discount on anything that they purchase. And I think a lot of your listeners are quite familiar now with activation. They got to remember to use that code, because we want them to make sure they're getting that. That's a special thing that we don't offer everybody else. And if they don't have that code, they can't get it. But that's a significant discount off of the price that they would have to normally pay.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Ian. And we'll speak again very soon. God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you, Nicholas. Thank you so much.